And I'm always trying to get more reading in because it makes me feel so smart. So I'm listening to a lot of titles right now, and I'm doing that with Audible.
I am about to embark on a journey with the audio title The Plot by Jean Hanff Corlitz, and I'm really excited that Audible is there to help me.
As an Audible member, you can choose one title a month to keep from their entire catalog, including the latest bestsellers and new releases. There are thousands of titles. Try Audible free for 30 days. Visit audible.com/crappens or text crappens to 500-500. That's audible.com/crappens or text crappens to 500-500.
I'm Anna.
And I'm Emily, and we're the hosts of Terribly Famous, a new podcast from Wondery.
From Adele to Victoria Beckham and Lily Allen, we take you inside the drama-filled lives of our most talked-about celebrities to find out what it's like to walk in their shoes.
She means their beautiful Prada shoes.
Listen to Terribly Famous wherever you get your podcasts.
Watch what crappens, watch what crappens. Who cares what happens when there's so much that crappens? Crappens, crappens, crappens. Watch what crappens, watch what crappens. Who cares what happens when there's so much that crappens? Watch what crappens, watch what crappens. Who cares what happens when there's so much that crappens?
Hello and welcome to Watch What Crappens, a podcast about all that crap on Bravo that we just love to talk about. I'm Ben Mandelker, and joining me today is the one and only RHONY Karam. We are here for part 2 of our RHONY recap. We started part 1 on the previous episodes. If you're like, wait, what the hell? What's going on? That's where it is. So go subscribe to our podcast if you haven't already. If you're just coming in sort of out of the blue, go subscribe. You have all our episodes in your podcast player. And I don't want to, let's not wait. Let's dive into the whole second hour of recapping of RHONY. So Jessel and her mom, her elegant mom, Neelam, are walking down the street. And, you know, you mentioned before about dressing in oatmeal. This was like an oatmeal loft. Both of them are in, like... They just love wearing oatmeal.
Jessel's just committing to oatmeal. She's like, I'm wearing oatmeal, my mother's wearing oatmeal, and I need a scout to go out and find us the only restaurant that is completely decorated in different shades of oatmeal. Right?
It was a full oatmeal restaurant.
Even the song was oatmeal. It was like from the Charles Schultz, Charlie Brown soundtrack. What I don't even know what the song was, but it was like one of those depressing Charlie Brown piano songs. I was like, how can you go from like, we're girls and we like it in New York. We like it and I'm triggered. And then we go to
a very beautiful version of Peanuts. And I would walk 500 miles. It was a mashup.
I can walk 500 miles.
Da, 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 da. So they are basically floating heads in this beige restaurant. And
the restaurant, it can't be stated enough, this restaurant. Giant wicker baskets, cream seats, brown chairs, cream lights.
Everything.
They even had mirrors on the wall to reflect more cream, and the borders of the mirrors were wood to be brown.
Everything.
I was like, wow.
Everything was like this. Okay, so you just knew the food was bad too. So Jessel's basically on her mom's.
I love beige food, don't you? Bread is beige. Like,
bread is beige.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
like
I
beyond
make fun of the color, but like I'd eat it any day of the week.
I mean, I'm trying to think of other beige things. It's like oatmeal. Oatmeal is literally oatmeal colored, and then
peanut butter.
Peanut butter's brown. I feel like,
but it's like in the family.
Well, I think brown food is
like
different than beige food. I'm going to say that. Well, what, okay. Rice Krispie treat? Beige. Cream.
Beige.
Beige-ish.
Okay, so the mom is sitting down. They're chilling, and
cookie.
Jessel's giving her shit for having her short haircut. She's like, when are you going to grow your hair, mother? And she's like, it does grow, and then it goes flat. And she goes, oh, my God, just do layers, Mom. And she's like... I don't have time. This is it. This is my hair now. You need to learn to live with it, Jessel. She's like, Mom, I mean, it's just you and Dad in the house. You have time.
And so the mom's like, oh, you're just like, rah, 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 rah. And just like, what is that's how I am? I'm like a chihuahua, mother. Is that what I am? Which is the big thing on this show, is that you say one small thing and then a cast member likes to imbue a lot of like meaning to it. Like, are you saying that I'm a princess? Are you saying that I don't support other women? Are you saying that I'm a chihuahua? So, but Neelam's like, yes, you are like a chihuahua. I am saying that.
Yeah. And she goes, oh, so I suppose that means you're perfect, are you, mother? And she goes, yes. So she tells us that her mom is her best friend. And she's like, and you know, as an Indian girl growing up, of course I kept plenty of secrets from my mom. I would sneak whole slutty outfits into my backpack and then go off to nightclubs. But IVF is the most serious secret. It's something that lives with me. But I will tell you, it did make it more fun getting IVF, even though it was depressing at the time, because every IVF appointment I would show up to, I would sneak an S&M outfit into my bag and then show up to IVF dressed like that. It was like a double whammy for mum, you know?
I love dressing slutty to IVF. So Jessel's like, so, what should we talk about? Well, I can't believe that Dad has literally dropped Kai in his head like 5 times already and has still not fixed that boy. And Neelam's like, oh yes, well, I'm very scared when the kids are with him. She goes, well, I mean, yesterday you were mad at me because you said that I called him a shithead. And he goes, well, you have to have respect for your father. Well, I do respect. I'm very respectful. But you call Dad a shithead? Goes, well, because he is a shithead sometimes. But I'm the wife, I can say it.
I love that you just don't. You can tell how many babies you've been around in your life because you just totally skipped over. The dad just keeps dropping the baby on his head. Like, what the hell? Ben's like, that's normal.
You know, listen.
Drop a baby on their head. They have a soft spot on their head. Don't let the dad hold the baby. What's going on in this household? Also, why are you saying this on TV on purpose when you're trying to get your children into a smart people school? Like, that's going to be on camera. They're going to be like, what? Oh, is this a school where the kid from television that's constantly dropped on his head goes to? I don't want to go here.
I would like to amend my application to the Tom Cruise Montessori School. Not only is my child socially inept, which is a good thing, I believe, but also his head is so flat you can place any sort of teaching tools right on it. It's like having a little talking table.
Turns out my child has the most flexible head on the entire Upper East Side. Or West Side. She lives on the Upper West. No. Where does she live? The Upper East? I forgot.
She's everywhere.
She's everywhere. Everything everywhere all at once.
Jessel lives right here in your heart.
So her mom's like, well, listen, my parents were very strict, Jessel, and I don't want to be like that with you guys. She goes, you were strict. And she goes, but only because I worry and I want to be with you. I support you and I want to be there. And she's like, okay, well, that being said, there are things I wanted to tell you. It took me a long time to get pregnant. I found fingerprints on a candle holder that looks like a colon protruding out of the water. And thank God for that fingerprint kit I bought. I know that your fingerprint was on them. So I'm hereby blaming you for making it difficult for me to get pregnant because you knew the stress was killing me and it was your stress with your fingerprints. Stop trying to hide it.
Well, it took us a very long time for us to we had a lot of difficulty to get pregnant, it's very hard to get in the romantic mood when your husband is stuffing his face with fried chicken while you're copulating. So eventually we decided, let him eat his chicken with his friends and I will go get banged up with a needle. And so we started IVF, and I was not crazy about the idea, but what was I going to do? Have either go to IVF or have sex and smell like 36 flavors or whatever's in that frickin' fried chicken they've got with the old man from the south. So it's my only option. I did one round, it didn't work, and then we basically ended up doing a second round, and like Tribeca, it just didn't come together, it was not quite working.
It was 6 months of injections and hormones. It's just awful. You have to inject your stomach every 2 weeks. So imagine me telling you this stuff. Just imagine me telling you this stuff, Mother. A little neighborhood where the streets don't run straight, trying to find your way around. Would you think that anyone would actually have the nerve to invite you somewhere like that? And Mom's like, no, I would say it's very confusing, and I would be there to hold your hand and help you and to read a map quest.
And Jessel says, when I get a cold, my mom doesn't sleep. She calls in the first thing in the morning and is like, oh my God, how are you feeling? And she internalizes it. Sleepless nights. She doesn't eat. She's like, I don't know, some vagrant walking around Tribeca. But I don't want my mom going through that, much like I don't want anyone to go to Tribeca. So I just didn't tell her.
And the mom's like, well, they're both crying. This is actually like we're teasing, but it's really a cute scene. They're both crying. And the mom's like, well, I don't even know what to say. And she's like, Mom, I mean, listen, it's not like at the end of the day you get nothing for nothing. And that's all you could say for the life of the poor. You would have been amazing, but it's difficult to talk about this stuff in our culture, And if I'd made it public knowledge, what would have the response have been? And her mom's like, gossip. A lot of gossip.
I love that.
Yes.
The mom just because the mom's like crying into her margarita. She's literally sipping her margarita so she doesn't have to cry. And then she just like rears her head up, and goes, gossip. And I was like, oh, what was the traumatic backstory of Neelam and her husband when they got married?
Because they know, like in your culture, everybody's going to talk shit and it sucks.
Yeah.
And Jess is like, yeah, it's fucked up, but I knew it would be fine, Mom. And I ended up getting 2 for the price of 1. So it's really the biggest bargain there is, Mom.
And the mom's like, that's true. I mean, your dad does get delighted when he can drop 2 babies at once. So it has worked out pretty well. So Jessel basically, she said like she wants her mom by her side as they prepare for like number 3, which by the way, Pavitt still is not signed off on, but Jessel's just going to go do it. She's just going to get herself a daughter. And she goes, well, 3 is my number, so that's not going away. I've been able to have it, my lucky number, ever since I was a child. She, it's funny. I guess the thing that makes me laugh about that is she acts as if there's some maybe like authority or business that'll say, I'm sorry, you no longer can have 3 as your lucky number. We're going to require you to have to update that. Like, it's not that hard to keep your lucky number for your entire life. That's sort of like the way it works.
And she's like, I'd love for my mother to be there. She showed such sensitivity today, hasn't she? Maybe now she'll be sensitive enough of my needs to wipe fingerprints off glass tables. We'll see. And I like that the mom laughs. She's like, you can't even raise the 2 you have. And she's like, Mom, are you saying I can't raise the 2 I already have?
Literally, yes. So now we see Brynn walking into a place and she's got a nice big green jacket on, which looks pretty cool. But also I like that it suggests that it's the Grinch because we're still in the holidays. This show has really been lingering in the holiday season, I've noticed. So we're still there. I thought we were up in the new year because I feel like last week they were talking about the new year, but we're still in the holidays. So Brynn walks into this place where there's a woman named Elise who is a wreath-making instructor. And Brynn talks about how the holidays can be rough, but she likes to direct all her energy into happy things like decorating and making wreaths and, things like that with her friends so she can be distracted from the pain she feels at this time of the year.
I'm veg. I don't like that it's Christmas this whole time. You know how they keep talking about how it's depressing when it's Christmas? It is. So why are you making the whole season Christmas? Why aren't they doing like Jersey does, where it's like they don't even mention Christmas until they go, it's Christmas, and then everyone has a phone cam at Christmas. And you see them all opening presents, and that's it. I don't want a whole season taking place at Christmas.
This Christmas has really gone on for a long time. So Jessel enters and it's like, oh, and there's hugs, and Brynn is like, yeah, when you're around Jessel, you just feel loved. And when she's happy to see you, she's like truly happy to see you. And like she doesn't take herself seriously. She's lighthearted and funny and like a space cadet. I'm like, have you talked to Pavitt? Because I think he might have a different take on all of this.
She's like, Jessel's like, oh, well, you said to come as a ho, ho, ho. I mean, I'm covered, but still very sexy, right? And they cheers. And then Jenna comes and, a parka, because she's Jenna. And Brynn's like, don't let that woman in off the street. She's like not even supposed to be here. She's never even sat in a Rolls Royce before. I'm sorry, I'm just lifting these big sexy wreath sticks to each other.
So Jenna has like a huge amount of bags. She has like tote bags and boxes and everything. And she says, well, this is the last time I'm going to get to see everyone before the holidays. So this is a bag. It's a culmination of my favorite things, products that I love, and all female and small businesses. And I'm sure they'll be received really warmly because I'm really good at giving gifts on this show. It goes over really well each time. Yeah.
And she's like, guys, I've been collecting presents for you guys. So, and so I think Sai walks down the street in like the fakest way, because she's Sai. She's like, I'm an influencer. So she's walking like dun, dun, with her sunglasses on, just slightly not looking at the camera. And then she even keeps walking in slow motion into the restaurant. I was like, babe, they'll add the slow motion for you in post. You don't actually have to do it yourself.
No, this is how you know what? Growing up, I had to do everything for myself. So I needed a slow-mo entrance. I just had to walk in slow-mo. Okay? So she comes in. She's also in oatmeal today. And not only is she dressed in oatmeal, she actually wants oatmeal because she walks in because apparently this is like a morning event. And there's like Brynn has put out a spread from someplace called Bubby's, which I guess is probably like a Jewish deli kind of place. I have to say, it looks like a perfectly fine and appropriate spread for this sort of event. I give it passing grades. I had no issues with it. So then when Sai comes in and she looks at it and she's like, "Is there oatmeal?" You know what, Sai? Okay.
Yes, Sai. There's fucking oatmeal on it.
There's
looking
at a
oatmeal on a
spread.
catered spread. You fucking asshole. Okay.
At this point,
Also,
just go to Starbucks around the corner and get your oatmeal and then come back in.
Yeah, and this is a lot of eating disordered stuff with these women because they're all like super stick thin and they're always talking about food. And that is definitely a red flag. And listen, I've been treated for eating disorder stuff, so that's where it comes from. It comes from a doctor. But like when people are constantly obsessing about food, complaining about food, saying how much they need food, but then she looks at avocado, which is like one of the healthiest things you can eat, and is like, no brown avocado. Avocado turns brown as it sits in the air.
It's oxidizing.
You fucking idiot. Yeah, that's how it works. It doesn't mean it's bad. And then her
by the
first
way,
thing
by the way,
to
the avocado
ask
was
for
green
is
too.
oatmeal. No one asked for oatmeal first. You guys are all ridiculous. Let's stop all pretending that you're eating all the time, okay?
Well,
it's like Bethany Frankel with her whole, I eat now, because people were always accusing her of eating disorder stuff. So she started like in every scene, she would whip out popcorn and then eat it with her mouth open and eat it like really furiously. Like, look at me. I'm eating. Or that video she did a few weeks ago where she was in a hotel room and found out what bags of crawfish were. Did you see that one?
Yeah.
Still terrifying.
Or when
Sucking
she
the
actually
heads off the crawfish.
or when she actively bit Raquel's arm off during that interview. I was like, okay, we get it. You eat, okay? So by the way, also, like, Sai's just like not funny with her eating stuff, because there is a world in which someone has hangups about food, and every time they do it, it's like very funny. I know I'm trying to be very good about it, not compare this cast to the previous RHONY cast. But the truth is, if Dorinda came in and complained about the food, or Ramona came in and complained about the food, or anyone did, it would have been hilarious. But when Sai does it, and I only, by the way, I'm only referencing them because I can't think of any good comps from other franchises. But I would, I'm sure if like someone on Jersey did it too, it'd be funny. But when Sai does it, it's just like not funny. I can't describe it. I don't know how she could be funny about it. But when she does it, it's just not funny. It's just sort of like, it's just meh. It's not sad. It's just like, I just feel like I want more from Sai, and she's just not giving it to me. Complaining about brown avocado is not going to cut it.
She's giving oatmeal.
She's giving
That's
oatmeal.
what she's giving.
This whole episode is kind of oatmeal. I'm not going to lie.
So then Jessel's like, well, I guess the food's not up to Sai's standards because she complains about food all the time. And so I was like, so what is this? A table mat? What is this? A hat? What is this? What are we supposed to do? We're making a hat out of a table mat? Is that what we're here for? That's what I skipped oatmeal for today? And Brynn's like, oh, God, stop bitching and complaining. I mean, it's just what New Yorkers do. And then Ubah is still sick. And Jenna's like, I'm just like over this sickness. Like, I haven't even seen her in 3 weeks, okay? And hey, brother, how's your brother, Jenna? Has he reached out? And then Jessel asked
Jessel
Jenna
says
how her brother is, if he's reached out. And so I was like, yeah, is that the same brother that calls you genitalia? Can you believe it? I can't believe how starving I am right now that I can even remember that in my brain, but I can. I mean, isn't that pathetic? Genitalia. Let me tell you the story about it, okay?
Yeah, so then she tells, first of all, this is Jenna's cocktail party story, and then Sai decides that she's going to tell it and tell it in a much less funny way. She's like, I was bonding with Jenna, and I was wondering why Jenna doesn't ever share personal things with me, so now I'm going to tell you the personal thing she told me. Okay, so I'm with Jenna, and like, thanks for having me, by the way, at that thing, whatever it was. And like, there was this one girl who was like super nervous to break in and so to like do this, and so like to break the ice, Jenna was like, oh, let me tell you something personal about myself, and I thought that was really nice. And she said, my name was Judith. Can you believe it? Her name is Judith. And of course, Jessica goes, Judith? Oh, that's one shade worse than Parvit. I mean, I love it. I love it, Sister Judith. I love it.
I feel like this is the reaction she had the first time she saw Pavitt eat a hot dog on the street, where she was just like, oh, Judith. Absolutely disgusting, darling.
She goes, Judith to me lives on the Upper East Side, and she wears pink and shops at Bergdorf, and that's not Jenna Lyons, that's not my sister. Who are you, Judith?
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
Hi, I'm Lindsey Graham, the host of Wondery's podcast, American Scandal. We bring to life some of the biggest controversies in U.S. history, events that have shaped who we are as a country and that continue to define the American experience. American Scandal tells marquee stories about American politics, like the break-in at the Watergate Hotel, an event that led to the downfall of a president and raised questions about the future of American democracy. We go behind the scenes looking at devastating financial crimes, like the fraud committed at Enron and Bernie Madoff's Ponzi scheme. And we tell stories of complicated public figures like Edward Snowden and Monica Lewinsky, people who found themselves thrust into the spotlight and who spurred debates about the future of the country. Follow American Scandal wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen ad-free on the Amazon Music or Wondery app.
And so I was like, yeah, her name is not Judith. And when she was in college, she got the chance. She tells her whole story. You know, literally just tells the same story that she was told, which is so shitty, you story stealer.
Yeah.
Know? And so then Sai's like, okay, so what's the rest of your name? And Jenna's like, it's Judith Agar. And Jessel goes, Judith Agar. Oh, God, that's like a Game of Thrones name.
And Jenna's like, yeah, well, I changed it to Jenna Lyons. I don't know what Game of Thrones is, by the way. I changed it to Jenna Lyons Muzzo, and then like I dropped the Muzzo after the divorce. So now I just don't have a middle name. It just evaporated. So
yeah, and it sucks because like I want a monogram, you know, like I want monograms. And Jessel's like, why don't you just have JFL? JFL, I coined that. And she's like, yeah, okay, you know what? I'm actually gonna take that. And then she tells us, I'm Jenna Lyon. I'm Jenna fucking Lyons. So I'm taking it. And then I was like, oh my God, what was that? And I had to pause it. And I just heard gays across America going, yes!
Yes! Jenna fucking Lyons and Brynn fucking Whitfield! Yes, icons! So then like a gray cloud descends on this wreath-making party because Erin walks in and she just they already can see it. She takes one step into this place and everyone can get her energy, you know? Because immediately as soon as she walks in, everyone's like, are you okay? Are you okay? Brynn's like, Darth Vader is here.
Yeah. And Erin comes in wearing the saddest outfit. Okay, she's wearing a white button-down shirt, but she's wearing like a silver beaded bikini top over the white shirt, and it's like way down below her boobs. And so she just looks like this odd lady who put her bra on wrong with really dangly boobs. I was like, who told you this was okay? Probably Abe, so somebody would criticize it, and then you could get all pissed off, and you can come bitch to him all night because that's his fucking kink.
Yeah. So Erin's like, I decided to go to this wreath-making party because I'm pissed off, and I want to ruin Brynn's party just the way she ruined mine. I'm like, but she didn't ruin your party. You only found out about what she said after the fact, but the party itself was not ruined because you had a great time at the party. You can't retroactively have a party ruined. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah. So she's like getting a slow roll going on with her Darth Vader, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, so I was like, why are you so low energy? And she's like, I'm not. It's just that I've been up since 5:30 this morning, okay? I'm going to ruin this party so bad. And then Lady Edith comes over and she's like, okay, here's how you're going to do the wreaths. Asymmetry is your friend. And I'm not trying to shame the lady with the boobs dangling down to her belly button, okay? Sorry about that. Love your outward bra. And Brynn's like, my boobs are not asymmetrical. That's why I got them done $17,000 later. Funny how you mention it in the front seat of a Rolls Royce and suddenly you have a bag of dough to get it done. Am I right?
So they all start making their wreaths, and Jess is like, I'm very focused right now. Okay, I'm just I've got another hat to wear, turn on lights, make beds, make wreaths. I got the focus at full blast right now. She goes, I do arts and crafts with my 2-year-olds. I don't do it for fun. What sort of stupid, parvot-like idiot does arts and crafts for fun? It's ridiculous.
For example, our last crafts with the children were taking pool noodles and tape and taping them around their heads in case they were dropped by my father on top of their head. I think it worked because he can still form the words Tom Cruise after his last drop. So.
He just loves Top Gun Maverick. Well, we just force him to watch it just in case he happens to meet Tom at school someday. So Erin's like, these girls think that I think they failed pre-K because they can't even glow. I'm like, Erin is shaming people for the way they glue their wreaths that they're just half-heartedly doing so that way they can get through the scene. Yeah. It's just sad.
Erin's just a miserable person. So she's like, these girls can't even glue. Like, they can't even glue. And so I was like, all right, what's everyone thinking of doing for the holidays? I mean, none of you are feeding anybody, right? Because that's basically the gist I'm getting. All right? Unless anybody's going to have a brown avocado catered party. I don't see anybody doing anything with food over the holidays in here.
So Jessel says her parents are in, and Erin's like, oh, I'm going to the Dominican Republic. Yeah, it's going to be just like 4 different families with a bunch of kids. We get one big house and just like be so upset at things all the time. You know what I'm saying? Which, by the way, nightmare house. I do not want to be with Erin and her friends and their children in the house in the Dominican Republic. I'm sorry. I feel like everyone in that beautiful nation should just flee. Flee.
Everyone in there is going to be like, oh my God, we're staying in Erin's house in the DR and we still have to wear parkas. It's the weirdest thing. How is it physically possible to make this house this cold?
How is this house so cold?
So she's like, yeah, like all my closest cousins are going to come. Actually, Sai, if you had stayed till the end of my event, you would have seen the speech from my cousin. And we get a tss. But it wasn't a tss, it was a tss. And I was like, even the tss is bored with Erin's fucking personality, okay? They give Z's to the tss.
Who is thinking to themselves, dang, wait, I missed a speech from Erin's cousin? Dang, I really fucked that up. I never should have left early because I could have seen a speech from Erin's cousin. Wow, can't wait to hear what cousin Rob has to say about the time that they had Passover together in 8th grade. I mean, what? I don't know.
Exactly.
What?
So we get a zzz, and Sai goes, there were so many people there giving speeches at your event. I couldn't even hear a thing, to be honest with you. And Erin's like, yeah, because you left and you didn't even say goodbye. Well, I was hungry. There was no food. That's not a reason to leave someone's event and not say goodbye. I think it's incredibly rude, and you have bad manners. And she's like, oh, I don't care.
Si's best moment. Like, I don't care.
She goes, it's rude. Like, everyone else waited. She goes, you took forever. Everyone else waited. I had a nipple cotton chain link.
She's like, I was hungry. Everyone knows how I get when I'm hungry. I get sort of annoying and like not very funny. And so Erin goes, I know, but there was a ton of food. She goes, no, there wasn't. She goes, well, every single person after the event said the food was incredible. Like, I went on to vowrenewal.com and my vow renewal Yelp score was like 12, which is crazy because it only goes up to 4. And she's like, well, I don't eat meat. And they were like piggies in a blanket. I couldn't eat that shit. Well, I don't care. I have to get out of there. And Erin's like, you don't even care. You don't even care. She goes, yeah, I don't care. That's correct. No one cares.
It's like, I don't. She goes, you don't think it's rude? No. She goes, well, I'm so annoyed with Si's hungry excuse because, like, maybe you should get that checked out. Like, maybe you have, like, a worm in your stomach. And then we see a clip of Si making her whole personality about how she needs food, which is also ridiculous. You know, Erin and Si are both ridiculous, but they're giving me a fight in which I think both people are wrong, but I'm also proud of both people for hating the other person because it's justified. And I also don't care, but I'm also still watching. And I feel like that's just such a good recipe for a show. These are just my favorite kinds of shows. I'm like, oh my God, I don't like either one of these people. I can't wait for them to fight about something I don't give a fuck about.
Yeah, I'm on
Si's
Si's side with this. I think Si's whole thing about being hungry has gotten really old and I'm done with it. But in this case, I actually fully support. There was not food for her. And because I believe if there was food for her to eat, she would have eaten it. I actually do believe that. And there was no food for her. And Erin went up to change into her outfit. And that took forever. It's not going to be just like a 10-minute switcheroo. It probably was like a hair and a makeup thing and then photos. And then someone goes up there and they're chatting and yada, yada, yada. And Si's sitting there and she's like, I'm in this boring ass event. There's no food. I've had to sit through like a million boring speeches. And then I've had a sister yell at me. And I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to get some McDonald's and go home.
I agree with you. But
Thanks.
again, I don't care.
Thanks.
So, also, Erin's so obviously lying when she goes, there's tons of food there. No, there weren't, because still the only thing you can say is when Si comes back with, I don't eat meat and there were only piggies in a blanket. There was no argument to that. And I feel like if there was one, Erin would have made it because Erin's like the argue queen. She argues about everything.
Also, this is like when I go and stay at my parents' house in New York, they don't really have snacks. They have a fridge that is full of food, but it's like random produce and like random shit, like just all sorts of stuff, like bulk things from Costco. They've got a full fridge, but if I'm just like, I just want like a little snack or something, there's nothing for me to really just like snack on. And anytime I mention that, my parents go, but we have all this food. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to like have to MacGyver a snack out of like a block of feta and some lettuce and like I want like a snack,
You want like a pretzel.
Yeah,
you know
so like some
pretzels or
it's
cheese and pretzels.
Yeah, it's possible for food to be present, but there not to be something to eat. I know that sounds very privileged, but I have to give my reality on that one. And I think people understand that situation. So I feel like Erin was giving parent energy, be like, what? The fridge was full of food. You couldn't find something to eat. You couldn't make yourself a snack. Why don't you take last night's chicken and wrap it up with some put some grape jelly on it and put it on a piece of bread.
Well, there's always snacks at my parents because my mom doesn't eat very much. And she said when she grew up, she kept thin by eating 1 Snickers bar a day, and that's all she would eat. Okay, so that's where all my eating disorder stuff comes from. Confession time. So anyway, she's the same way now, where she'll eat like literally a bite and then I think what really fills her up more than the one bite is just like letting all the judgment soak in that she's getting to do on everybody else as she watches them eat. So she'll like take one bite and then she gives dirty looks to everyone else, and you can like literally hear her stomach stop growling. It's the craziest thing. Like different people need different things, but she always has a snack in her house. She'll have peanut butter crackers. Those slips that you get in gas stations of peanut butter crackers, like orange ones.
Orange ones, yep.
And then every day I'm there, I go in there and I look at her packet, and one cracker is gone each day. And I'm like, good for
It's
her.
like an advent calendar.
Yeah, she has that, and she'll do a Pop-Tart where she'll like take off one little piece of a Pop-Tart, every day. So you slowly see the Pop-Tart go down, and sometimes like I'll make it through an entire trip, and I'll see an entire sleeve of peanut butter crackers go, and that's when I know it's time to go home. It's been 8 days. This is all I can take.
I love that. The orange cracker calendar. It's the timer.
The Fat Man calendar. Okay, so then we go to... So then it switches up, right? Because Sai doesn't give a fuck, and she's about to turn on Erin. Erin has pissed everyone off at this point.
Yeah.
So Erin's like... Sai just goes, I came, I saw, I left. And Erin goes, yeah, thanks for that. You came, you saw, you left. And Brynn's like, which you didn't even say thank you for her coming to your thing. And Erin goes, yeah, well, she's not getting a thank you. And guess who else isn't? You, after what you did. I mean, what you did was flat out horrendous, Brynn.
Brynn's like, what did I do? And Erin's like, because she didn't go up to Abe and say, if you get divorced, please let me know at my anniversary party. I mean, do you think that's normal to do that? And Brynn goes, you don't even know what you're talking about? And Erin's like, I'm talking about you saying, wow, you're not even actually married because at your first marriage, you didn't say vows. And then you said, whenever you're ready to get divorced, please let me know. And you don't say that to someone at their anniversary party where their cousins make a speech later in the evening after the vows. You don't do that.
And Brynn's like, oh my God, Erin, give me a break. And Jessel's like, oh, I was there and I saw it. And she was just doing it in Brynn's style. Abe was laughing. If your husband should be upset about anything, it's that Parvit brought in warm nuts from the street and tried selling them to random people to keep the economy going during such a difficult time.
Yes. You know what Brynn was saying to Abe is like Parvit's Little Fried Chicken Society. It was a joke. It's a joke. No one really cares.
And Brynn goes, yeah, well, maybe you should tell Abe to stop laughing at my jokes. And then we see a clip of Abe going, ha, ha, ha. And then we see a clip of Brynn saying, don't make a mistake and say, I take you, Brynn. And Abe's like, ha, 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 ha. But now that we know Abe's a little snitch bitch, you can see the look on his face going, ha, ha, ha. I'm telling Erin everything later. And then we're going to have the best anger sex ever. And then after, I'm going to tell her she's right and everyone else is wrong. And then we're going to have more like pissed off but starting to feel better sex. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to put on my Patagonia vest and fuck my wife. So Brynn is like... because it'll be cold in there. So Brynn is like, it was like a reference to like Friends.
I can't wait to wrap myself in a weighted blanket and bang my wife.
I'm going to put on my North Face puffer and fuck the fuck out of my wife. It'll be a little cold though.
What's wrong with you? So then we come back and Brynn's like, it was a reference to Friends, Ross and Rachel. I was doing a bit. I was doing jokes. Like Abe could take it. He was giving it back. And Jessel's like, yeah, it was a joke. Everyone was laughing. Abe was laughing. And Erin's like, I don't care if it was a joke. You don't joke about divorce at my engagement party to my husband. That's literally where you joke about it. You fucking humorless human being. How does this woman have any friends at all? I mean, this is someone who is completely humorless. How did you even have anybody to give you speeches?
Hello, Ronnie. It's called making an iconic shakshuka. Who doesn't want to be friends with her?
Let's be honest. Shakshuka is some eggs boiled in tomato sauce. Can we all get the fuck over shakshuka and stop pretending that's the most amazing thing in the world? We've all had it before. Okay, everyone who has had shakshuka has reacted the same way Ben does whenever he sees it on the menu. He goes, "Oh my God, they have shakshuka. I don't really want that."
I try. I like it. I like it. But
I have no
a base level
I
of like
love
for it.
shakshuka. Nobody. They're like, oh, there's shakshuka here.
There are some people who love it. There are
really
some people
tomato
who love it.
saucy, like soft egg yolk.
I think here's a good way to revise what you're saying. Not that it needs revision, but what I am going to revise it to say is that shakshuka should just not be a personality. You know, like don't make shakshuka your personality, then expect to just like kill it on the Real Housewives. Okay?
Now Shake Shaka.
Into
that
it.
could go. I like Shake Shaka because you can weaponize that food. If you ever get the mushroom, there's like a big fried mushroom. It's stuffed with cheese, and that's like their vegetarian option. But when you bite into it, if there's a hole right in the proper place of the mushroom, it squeezes really hot oil out of whoever is sitting across from you. So like you could take people there you don't like and just chomp down and blind them with the hot. That's a personality, you know, Shake Shaka, like the Shake Shaka abuser.
I feel like I can just, it could be very, very effective, but also it could work against you if you're not careful, and it most likely will, because I've been
it's
burned.
worked against me. That's how I came up with the idea. You know, sometimes before you learn to shoot someone in the face, you have to learn to shoot yourself in the foot. It's just part of life.
Yeah. So, so Brynn is like saying that she's insisting that she did not bring up divorce at this party. And then, of course, we see a montage of Brynn mentioning divorce like 5 times, which is great. I mean, there's a lot of similarities between this episode and Atlanta also last night, because between talking about IVF and embryos and acting like you don't say certain words and then having montages of saying those words, I guess that's just those two things. I'm just really trying to create a through line between these two shows. It's not going to work.
So Brynn's like, yeah, well, I call him Abe the Babe. Like, how are you mad about this, but not when I wake up in your bed and like joke about Plan B? And Erin's like, because I was there for that. This wasn't with my husband. And so I was like, oh my God, what kind of Christmas holiday is this? Sitting across from a bunch of Grinches. I'll bet Santa Claus comes to your house and doesn't even leave shit because you won't even leave him a cookie, you bunch of non-feeding fucks.
Let's be honest, Erin would not leave a cookie for Santa. But also, by the way,
she wouldn't. She would leave one pig in a blanket and then be like, where was Santa's thank you card for the fucking spread of catering I left home?
So Santa just like dropped the presents and left without even saying goodbye. Like my cousin was about to make a speech that morning. The reason why, by the way, to answer Brynn's question of why was it okay, you weren't mad, why was it okay when I made a joke about Plan B in your bed in the Hamptons, and then we see the flashback of that, of Brynn being like, I need Plan B, and everyone going, ha, 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 ha. It's because Erin was trying to sell America on the fact that she was hosting the most hilarious girls trip ever to her house, so everything had to be hilarious and absolutely amazing. That's why it was okay to joke about that.
Yeah. That's true.
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
So Jessel, so I was like, listen, Brynn loves to flirt. What's the big deal? Like, does she really want Erin's husband? No, nobody wants Abe. Like, he won't even give the coat check his coat. Like, nobody wants this person, okay? Like, he may have fucking Peter Gallagher eyebrows, but that's where the similarities end, okay? It's done. So Jessel's like, I know women that are out to get your husband. Let me tell you, one of them worked at a funnel cake machine on 36th. This is not that.
And Brynn goes, well, I'm sorry you weren't there and you heard a version of the story and for whatever reason it upset you. And Erin's like, it's one thing after another. I'm like, no, you're one thing after another. Every episode you're annoyed by some dumb infraction of what you feel like is the way life should be.
Yeah. One complaint after another from you. One imagined slight. And Brynn's like, it's not, and if you accuse me of flirting with a married man, it's gonna get real. Even though you were just flirting with a married man as a joke. So Brynn's not the best fighter. She just needs to say, I was kidding, get your stick out of your ass and tell your eyebrows husband, I said snitches get stitches, bitch. The end. That's all you have to say. Say your husband's a fucking wuss. And why does your husband need to get you this riled up to relate to you in any way? You should find a different way to rile up your husband instead of mutual fury at everybody else.
Yeah. So Erin's like, this is the difference between Brynn and most of my friends. Brynn digs in her heels. She doesn't have ownership. She can't apologize. and move on. I think that maybe she would get an apology if Erin said, hey, by the way, I heard the other day you were sort of like joke flirting with my husband, and I know you meant it like a joke, but it actually kind of makes me feel uncomfortable, so I'd appreciate it if you don't do that anymore. And then I think probably Brynn would be like chill about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Or just make just, I don't know. It doesn't have to be this. So Erin's like, you were making jokes to entertain yourself. She goes, yes, because your party was boring. And then we get a new sound effect, which is rare. It takes a long time to get these, but this one goes, it's like a slide whistle down. And
it's a special holiday sound effect. It only happens at wreath parties, unfortunately.
So Erin's like, I'm not going to be here anymore. I'm not enjoying myself. And Jessel goes, you're not serious? And she goes, yes, I am the opposite of not serious. So I was trying to find that in a way that I could repeat exactly what you said, and it didn't really work. But I am serious. And so I goes, bah humbug, Erin, come sit down. And she's like, I'm not in the mood. Like, I'm going to take my sick wreath that I made. I'm fucking sick.
It's sick. So Jenna, of course, is like, I don't understand. I mean, Brynn flirts when she orders steak or when she puts lashes on future goddaughters. I mean, it's just how she operates. And she basically thinks that Erin has taken this way too seriously. So Erin just has her wreath and she goes, by the way, my wreath is beautiful because I'm really fucking good at designing and you guys all suck. Bye.
So I was like, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And so I was like, you know what? I get it. Maybe she was having a bad day. Maybe it was the brown avocado. What are you going to do? And then we get an avocado. And so Brynn's like, I don't want someone to feel bad, but like I was not flirting with Abe, okay? And Jessel says, and you never said the D word. How dare she suggest that you said the D word, which she did. But that also shows that Jessel's a good friend and will just stick up for whoever side she's on no matter what.
Or she just doesn't really listen, which I also believe. So Sai's like, well, why are you apologizing about something you didn't do? And Brynn's like, you know what? I want to have the conversation about why she feels this way. Like, she knows me, and that's absurd. Hold on a second. I'm looking for apartments. Let me see. Oh, my God. I just got a Zillow listing for a wreath. They put a wreath on Zillow. Erin is selling a wreath to live in. She says she's a good
made
designer.
by someone who grew up coloring around Gwyneth Paltrow. That looks fascinating.
Come live in something that was made by someone who's really good at designing. Wow. I just turned into Sai also.
And now this is the part where I messed up because I thought she said, Abe, I just freaked out on Brynn.
But it was Kelly. But the thing is this, though, Kelly must have just woken up from a nap because her voice sounded totally different because Erin's outside on the street and she's like, oh my God, I just freaked out on Brynn. I'm like, shaking right now. I just walked out on the whole thing with this like impossibly gorgeous wreath that I designed using my wonderful design experience.
Like if Keith Haring passed me, he would be like in awe of my work. Let's just say that. And you know what?
Banksy would literally unveil himself to me in this moment because he would just be taken in awe with my
Banksy
wreath.
Would start having to call himself like check cashing storesy because
Western
like I'm so
Union-y.
Banksy right now.
Yeah.
But like I'm literally shaking right now because like she's just weird. Like I don't know what her problem is. And the sister's like, I told you she's fucking rude. I was so mad when I thought it was
when
Abe.
you thought it was Abe, you must have been
you guys, I'm
losing your
still
mind.
triggered thinking it's Abe. So Erin's like, I mean, that was rude, right? She goes, yeah, she's such a bitch. And then she wears sunglasses like it's sunny, honey. It's not sunny, honey. You're not a celebrity. Relax.
Oh, this must have been awful for you. This must have been awful for you.
It was. I'm still furious with Abe. I hate him. I hated the way I was like, the minute the cameras aren't on, he's like, all the women are bitches. Fuck them. Oh, yeah, honey. You don't need that. You're not a celebrity, honey. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
my
it all
God.
makes sense.
This guy is dead to me.
So meanwhile, back at so I was like, wow, that was okay. Well, that was an okay episode. And then, but like, no, it's still going because now Jenna is handing out gifts at the wreath place, and Jessel's like, oh, thank you, Jenna. You are my dear best friend, sister. Thank you so much for this gift. The gift I have for you is taking care of Parvit for a week. Please take him out of my hands. Thank you so much. Sorry about the fried chicken smell.
And Bryn's like, I love gifts. I love expensive gifts from men. But when it comes in bulk, it's weird. Like, I just don't understand all these gifts. Like, it's my favorite travel bag. That's cool. And wipes and booty hole wipes. And Jessel's like, oh, Jenna, you're so thoughtful, just like when we were children. This is why our souls are bonded like that at the soul bone, you know? I mean, you know, when you finish a soul and people fight over the soul bone over it and they stop pulling either side of the soul bone. And whoever gets the side with the biggest soul bone wins. The biggest side of the soul bone is always Jenna. Because out of the both of us, Jenna's always had the biggest soul.
Oh, Jenna, thank you so much for these thoughtful gifts that don't make me look like a disgusting hag. Yes, I said the H word. Thank you. This is absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much. I love everything about it. I have no complaints. 10 out of 10, no notes.
And Jenna's like, well, I think that Jessel is just like hyper aware of our past experience together. And then we see the clip of her, Jessel just marching around in that ugly lingerie going, I look hideous in this. I've never looked so ugly in this. Thanks a lot, Jenna. I might as well be a nut seller downtown. Absolutely disgusting looking. God, what am I going to make a kill boss outside Madison Square Garden?
Thank you so much, Jenna. Thank you, Sister Jenna.
Thank you, Jenna. Thank you, sister.
So Sai, meanwhile, starts to say that she's suspecting that there's an ulterior motive with this, with these gifts, because every gift has Jenna's name on it, or it's like a collaboration. And she's like, and then she like picks up something that has Jenna's name. It's like, oh my God, today's swag bag is sponsored by Jenna Lyons. I'm like, I don't know. That kind of rubbed me the wrong way, because Sai, you're literally an influencer. Like, your job is that people give you things and you hawk them to your following. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that. But I don't know why you're upset with Jenna also influencing. And on top of that, too, Jenna is like, she's like an established entity in the world of like fashion and taste making. She is. And so like, if something has Jenna Lyons' name on it, like that carries a lot more weight than the random ass sponsorships that Erin has at her party. Or like if like Ramona Singer were here giving away a whole bunch of like true renewal or true beauty, whatever it was. So like, I just think it's funny that Sai is just so dismissive of Jenna Lyons when Jenna Lyons is like literally, I mean, she's like, she's not like no one, just starting up a brand.
Well, yeah, just in general, an influencer like turning their nose up at branded gifts is hilarious.
Yeah.
I think it's so funny. And it's also idiotic. It's like, you're doing this for more followers, honey, so you can get, honey, you see, I just pulled an Abe, who I thought was Abe, because Abe is still misogynying in my head. Sorry. But you're like doing this show to get more followers as your influencer thing. Jenna is doing this to actually sell all the products that she's selling in her massive companies that you don't have. So like, you're a beggar. Okay, and she is a seller. So
yeah.
Please, like, let's stop shaming.
I know.
And
I also
let's stop shaming the winner in the room. You just look sad. And let's stop pretending that you don't carry Tupperware around in your purse to take home the free shit everywhere you go, because you're an influencer and you live off free shit.
Yeah, and I fully recognize Jenna Lyons of 2023 is not the same Jenna Lyons of 2015 or 2012. Like, I get that. But I still feel like she's more established. I also feel like Jenna does have this awkwardness, and she, I don't know if she knows really how to connect with people. And so to me, it was like, this is just her gesture. Like, this is how she thinks that it's supposed to be done. And I don't know. I thought it was just like pretty ungrateful.
She is doing the, like, I'm plugging myself and I'm giving everyone my product, but they all do that. That's what they do.
Yeah.
I mean, Sai, you're basically holding a bag called The Only Reason I Came on This Stupid Fucking Show. Okay, that's the reason, is to show all of her products. Why the hell else do you think she's here? Let the woman show her stuff, okay? Then you can go back to your office and show off your fucking Fendi.
And they also all kiss Jenna's ass because she is the most famous of them and she's the most established in the world of fashion. And then when Jenna then gives they're kissing her ass because they want to get the perks of that friendship, and then Jenna's giving them the perks, and they're like, ew. It's like, well, why are you kissing her ass? That's what you're going to get out of it. You're going to get Jenna Lyons' product.
Well, and then what she says here is, she's like, you know what? That's what I truly feel. Like, no matter how much, she's like, I love you, horse, unicorns. It's all about Jenna Lyons. I was like, well, yeah, you know.
I mean, have you?
She's still
seen
giving
your
you free shit.
Instagram?
She didn't have to give you those lashes, you asshole. So anyway, at least she calls it out. At least she's not just a back talker, you know, like some behind your back talker.
Yeah.
She goes, oh, here it is. Jenna Lyons' name on a bag. Wow. Today's swag bag sponsored by Jenna Lyons. And Jessel's like, wow, Jenna, all these old brand collabs. Ha 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 ha.
Do you know, like, if this was like, you know, Jessica Gucci or whoever's of the Gucci family, if any of them are even alive or in jail, but like if it was Jenna Gucci, and Jenna Gucci was like, by the way, here's some stuff, and it was all, you know, Gucci or Gucci by so and so and Gucci collaboration with this Gucci, they'll be like, oh my god, thank you so much. But it's like Jenna Lyons, they're like, ew, gross. You're not at J. Crew anymore. You're no longer like a head honcho. So this stuff is gross and stupid. I hate it.
And Brynn's like, I don't think that Jenna has an expectation that we're all going to share on social. But I think she has an assumption or a hope that we will. Oh, no. That would be terrible. Especially like last week at that party where there were brands literally everywhere you were, except nobody really said any. Well, Brynn did say something about that. Or the party that you just had at Jessel's house, which was just a basic brag for the camera about what a good PR person Jessel was by showing all those basic branded names on TV. Come on, you guys. You're on Housewives. Get over it.
I don't know why this little moment at the end of the episode got me so mad. I just feel like it's so unfair to Jenna. I'm just like, you know what? Like, shut up, everyone.
They're coming for like the big dog. I think that everybody is looking at it like, oh, Jenna Lyons is on this show, so she's going to be the star of the show. So we're going to be able to take her ass down in some way. But Jenna hasn't given them anything to use, and so they try to use every little thing. It's like, Jenna, aren't you mad? Aren't you going to get in a fight that Jessel was mean about the negligee? And then she didn't. She didn't care. And now it's like, Jenna, you didn't come to the other party and spent time with your son instead. And Brynn called you Jenna Lyons, like spelled like lying. And by the way, they cut that out of the show last week, and they showed it in previews where Jenna supposedly went up to Brynn and said, "Did you really call me Jenna Lyon?" They cut that out.
Oh.
And so
Maybe
that was going to start a
Peacock.
fight, but then that didn't start a fight. And now you guys are going to try and come after swag bag. It just makes you guys look so thirsty. You're already looking try-hardy as we are. Like, you don't need to try this hard. Jenna will go crazy in due time.
Yeah.
Just wait for it to happen. You don't have to make it happen. It will happen.
Yeah. So now the wreath lady, Elise, comes back. She's like, so how's everyone doing over here? And they're all like, they're all showing off their wreath. Brynn is oddly embarrassed about her wreath, and I think her wreath looks lovely. So Brynn, you need to really have more wreath esteem, because it was a lovely wreath. I was like, I thought it was great. What was wrong with it? It had like nice little sort of thing on the side. I liked it. So then they're just like having fun. It's like happy holidays. And they're like, oh, you know what we should do? We should FaceTime Ubah, because I think she's on our show. So they FaceTime her, and she's like, oh, what a wacky thing we're all doing. Wreaths, and I'm homesick. Oh, wacky women on FaceTime.
Making COVID fun again. It's me, Ubah. She goes, by the way, the most important question. Do you have food there today? And Brynn's like, put the FaceTime by the food to show her. And then they leave the phone staring at the food. And Ubah says, girl, I saw the food. I was actually happy I wasn't there. Terrible food. Oh, another one who I'm sure eats a ton. And just making food their central
It was like
storyline.
smoked salmon, bagels. Oh, disgusting. Where's the can of coconut milk?
So then we get a still coming this season on Real Housewives of New York. God, did you really say that? That was so rude. That was
Still
so
coming?
rude how you did that. Oh my
Still
God,
coming on
I really
this season?
didn't like how you
Really?
did that.
Really? That's how you're
Gross.
Jenna.
You're
Jenna.
gross.
So Jenna doesn't
Hated
want to
how
fly
you did
coach.
that.
Really? But I think it's going to be a short season, because Andy just last night on Twitter put out the solicitation for questions for the reunion. So I'm going to assume this is going to be probably about like a 12 episode season. I think we just finished episode 7. So I'm going to say 12 episodes. I'm sure it was like smaller season because they were testing things out. That's my prediction.
Good.
In case
Well, I
anyone
hope you're
cared.
right. That would make 5 more episodes.
Very important.
All right,
prediction.
everybody. Well, thank you for listening to this very special 2-part Real Housewives of New York City
Very special.
episode.
It was
Here we
very,
go.
very special. Thank you, everyone, for listening to both parts. It was, it was a special time for us to record it, and it was a special time, hopefully, for you to listen to it, because happy holidays. Am I right? Thanks, everyone.
We're obsessed with you guys.
We're obsessed. Bye.
Watch What Crappens would like to thank its premium sponsors.
Know Your Worth with Jason Kurth.
Ain't no thing like Allison King.
Ashley Savoni, she don't take no baloney.
She's not just a Sheila, she's a Daniela. Itchels. Erin McNicholas, she don't miss no trickolas.
She's never scary. It's the Green Fairy.
Hava Nagila Weber.
Jamie, she has no last namey.
Sipped some scotch with Jessica Trotch.
Kristen the Piston Anderson.
She's always supplying, it's Kelly Ryan.
Megan Berg. You can't have a burger without the Berg.
You're never alone with Lacey Monteleone.
Let's give a kisserino to Lisa Lino.
There ain't no problem that Sarah Salvia can't solve ya.
Ruru LaRue.
The Bay Area Betches.
And our super premium sponsors, the incredible edible Matthews sisters.
Somebody get us 10 cc's of Betsy MD.
She's not harsh. She's Jill Hirsch.
We're taking the gold with Brenda Silva. Erica, 500 Days of Summers.
She's the queen bee. It's Sarah Lemke. We love him madly. It's Kyle Pod Shadley.
Don't get salty with Christine Pepper. Let's go on a bender with Lauren Fender.
My favorite Murdo, Karen McMurdo.
Nobody holds a candle to Jamie Kendall.
Give him hell, Miss Noel.
Can't have a meal without the Emily Sides.
Let's get real with Caitlin O'Neill.
We want to hang with Liz Lang.
Shannon, out of a cannon, Anthony. Let's take off with Tamla Plain.
She ain't no shrinking Violet Kuchar. We love you guys.
Hey Prime members, you can listen to Watch What Crappens ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the Amazon Music app today. Or you can listen ad-free with Wondery Plus in Apple Podcasts. Before you go, tell us about yourself by completing a short survey at Wondery.com.